What up, Cowboys Nation? It's your boy DMV back with another one. And this time, I actually woke up and I saw something on First Things First, and they were discussing the Cowboys. So tune in, guys. You got Nick Wright and Cris talking Cowboys.
There's about 18 million.
He got franchised this season.
Right, so he either walks or you give him a long-term deal. Maybe they franchise him a second time, but either way, 18 to 20 million. Dak is getting a new deal. We know Amari's getting a new deal, and Zeke probably is getting a new deal. There's your cap space. So they're not going to have to lose any of those guys, but it's
just
all
like
gone.
that. It sounds good when you start the conversation, but it goes quickly.
And so the keys for the Cowboys are, in no particular order, getting Travis Frederick back, which is wildly important.
Which doesn't involve money.
Right.
It's just his overall health. He's the best center in football. It seems like he's on his road to recovery.
I was going to say, it seems like he will be back and healthy.
That's what this is like the hardest, because it's not an injury. None of us really understand. Only Mark Schlereth dealt with it, so he has an idea. But
when he was full strength after a year.
And so we have reason to believe he'll be back. And I would say the two biggest components for the Cowboys are their other offensive linemen getting back to all-pro caliber form in Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, the guard they took, Connor Williams, justifying that second-round draft pick. And then, of course, as is the case with every Cowboys conversation, where does Dak's play go? Because there are no, they obviously don't have a first-round pick, and they're not going to be, I think, big-time players in free agency. It's this team. And now this team you have some faith in because they won 8 of 9 down the stretch, including a playoff game over the Seahawks. But it's not going to be some remake of the team, and it's not going to be a bunch of different faces coming in. Prolific
thrower in college, but he still was developing his overall arm strength when he was in. And the Chargers gave up on him, and the Saints, they the one invested, and we saw him continue to grow there. So I believe that Dak is on the right track. Just as easy as they traded for Amari Cooper. Look how much better he got. Now we add another tight end, add some other things to that offense. I believe he can take those necessary steps that Nick's talking about.
I was very 270 yards passing in a game when the Cowboys were struggling, when it looked like the progression was here to here to here. What he did over the last 8 games showed me growth to where you can say, okay, continue on that growth path, and it wouldn't be unprecedented, to your question, for him to get where we're talking.
I think also what we've seen in Nick Foles, I think we can continue to learn. You can see with Nick Foles as a passer, in the last year and a half, he's gotten so much better. He's so much more visually able to see things down the field. He trusts what he's seeing. He's got enough arm strength to be able to reach almost all parts of the football field. So that development process, it's hard. It's hard when you have a franchise quarterback and you're trying to help him make those next steps. But we have seen other guys do it. We weren't patient in those times. And typically with Dak, we're not going to be patient watching him develop.
And what Foles had working for him last year was Frank Reich and Doug Peterson. This year he has Doug Peterson. I don't believe Dak has yet had the great quarterback coach around him. The great offensive mind. I think they've been fine. I think Jason Garrett gets criticized all the time. I think he's fine. I wonder this offseason if the biggest move the Cowboys could make is try to do the Sean McVay thing, except not as the head coach, as someone to come in to work.
Yeah, they've already said they're going to bring Scott.
And there is the perfect segue. As you guys see, all roads lead to the development of Dak Prescott. Because, see, with all of the money that you're going to have to invest in the offense with Amari Cooper, Zeke Elliott, Dak Prescott, guess what? That means all of your question marks, as they pointed out, is on the offensive side of the ball. So if you're going to be investing that much money, you have to make sure that you're putting those guys in the right situation. Now, as I believe Nick Wright pointed out, most of these guys are going to be returning. These are going to be the same guys that got you to where they got you right now. And you got to find a way to get over the hump, because all of the money you're going to be spending, for the most part, are going to be on homegrown talent with DeMarcus Lawrence, Zeke Elliott, Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper. And maybe, a free agent here or there. But for the most part, on the offensive side of the ball, these guys are going to be the same. In the next year, you're going to have all 6 of your interior linemen locked up on deals. Yes, you could draft somebody, but you got 6 interior linemen right there who are coming back for certain. Tyron Smith is coming back. Lyle Collins is coming back. So, I mean, the tight end position, you know, maybe Blake Jarwin can run away with that next year. I believe he showed enough right now to where he should be the front runner. But without that being said, you're going to need something off of the books that's going to help improve your team. And in my opinion, keeping our offensive coordinator, like Jason Garrett was pretty much saying yesterday, and then got corrected and then changed up by Stephen Jones. You know, we have to look at every possible way to get this team better. And if you look last year, what did they do on the defensive side of the ball? The defense wasn't the issue last year as much as it was the offense, but we still went out there and got Cris Richard. And you can't tell me, with having most of the same guys coming back, that coaching does not matter. Coaching can take you to the next level. And what Nick Wright was pretty much saying is, we need an actual guy that can work with the quarterback. That's no slight on Kellen Moore. That just is what it is. You know, we need an experienced guy that works with quarterbacks. With Scott Linehan, what the offense did this year, yeah, it got better on down the stretch, but there weren't many organizations calling the last 3 years to have him head coach or bring in for a head coaching interview. That should let you know right there that your coaching is not good enough, because on the defensive side of the ball, you saw Cris Richard had multiple interviews, and he had only been here for a hot year. Scott Linehan has been here how long and has not gotten a head coaching interview? And maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but that should let you know right there you should be putting your team in the right situation. Look at New England. It's a revolving door of coaches, but they bring in guys that are good with quarterbacks for the most part. Like they've had so many different offensive coordinators. Josh McDaniel has gone away, head coach, came back, got another head coaching job, then came back and decided to stay. So I think that all roads lead to some changing on the offensive side of the ball. Not offensive line, because, you know, that was the scapegoat last year during this time. Then we ended up replacing the guy that they thought was going to be better than that guy. I'm not saying to go ahead and replace just for the sake of replacing, but I do think that Scott Linehan should not be comfortable at this moment, at this juncture. A guy that I'm looking at right now, I don't believe he got any interviews, but I'm looking at the quarterback coach for the Chiefs right now, Mike Kafka, or however you say his name. I remember when he was in the league, he was a journeyman. But he's worked with Alex Smith over at the Chiefs, and he's worked with Mahomes. That should be a hot name amongst the league, but it wasn't. But maybe for an offensive coordinator position, a guy that obviously knows what they're doing with the quarterback position, and is part of that Andy Reid tree of doing well with quarterbacks. As you see, Doug Peterson was named by Nick Wright. But let me know what you guys think. In my opinion, I think that everything that Cris Carter and Nick Wright talked about is reasons why we need to move on from our offensive coordinator. Not that he didn't call a better games down the stretch, but when you're putting that much money into your offense, you're putting that much money into your quarterback has to be put in the right situation to keep getting better. And I think over the 3 years, I don't think that he has gotten better. I think that he's stayed solid, but I think in order to pay him that much money, we need him to take that next step, being that over the next 5 or however many years, you're going to be draining a lot out of your cap, and your quarterback has to make up for that play. But let me know what you guys think. All right, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell each time I come out with content. All right, peace.